Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Valente Chrissy, and if you're new on this channel, welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for your continued support. I highly appreciate you. I create content in motherhood, personal improvement, and a bit of vlogs. If there is your kind of content, please do consider subscribing on my channel, liking my video, and commenting on the comment section below. On this video, I'll be talking about the reason we took our 4-month-old into the nursery. Our baby is currently 1 year and 10 months. She has been into the nursery from 4 months. Here's the reason why. Backstory: my partner and I, before we even fell pregnant, we discussed on how we wanted to raise our child if ever it happened that to fall pregnant. One thing that we discussed about was whether we wanted to stay with our child or we wanted to send the child off to the grannies or maybe to get a nanny. If you don't know, we both stay in Johannesburg. Our parent homes, mine is in KZN and his is in Limpopo. We do not have our parents around. One of the decisions that we made was if ever we fall pregnant, we want to be those parents who are hands-on into our child's life, want to see our child grow in our space, meaning where we stay, want to stay with our child, want to see the child each and every day. Because we both do 9 to 5, of course none of us will be able to stay with the child full time. Personally, I was like, I'll prefer to take a child to the nursery, and the reason being is because I've seen people taking their kids to nurseries from the young age and they turn out to be okay. For me, that is what I wanted, and he was up for it as well. The alternative for me was to get a stay out nanny. One, because at the time, and we are still staying in a 1 bedroom apartment, that is what we both agreed on, and he was okay with it. And we fell pregnant, and that was still our plan that the child is gonna go to the nursery when I have to go back to work. That is what happened. I'm not gonna lie, guys, the first day of taking my baby to the nursery, it was so difficult because I was just taking her to the school. I didn't know those people who were gonna take care of her. It was not easy, but yeah, I am grateful that that is a decision we made. Here's why I'll say nursery over nanny or nursery over anything else. If you are watching this video and you are pregnant or you just had a baby and you are still deciding whether you should maybe hire a nanny for your baby or you should take your baby to a nursery, I will always recommend the nursery. And of course, I have my own reason about that, but it depends on your preference as well. The first thing which I'll say it's an advantage or a benefit that I have personally experienced and about taking baby to the nursery at an early stage, one will be consistency. We wanted something that is consistent. To be honest, job back is a hustle, and if you hire a nanny here, just be prepared that that person can leave anytime, depending, of course, on how you treat them and how much they need their job and how you pay them. It depends on that. With my experience and what I've seen around me, was how inconsistency nannies are in Johannesburg. As a 9 to 5 girly, I personally didn't want something that is not consistent because I don't have time to change nanny. You find it's like your baby is not even 6 months and you've changed nanny 2 times. That is what I personally didn't want. I'm not saying that is how it was gonna be like, but based on the experience that I've seen, that nannies here, they're really not as consistent as taking the baby to the nursery. That is why we took the baby to the nursery. We wanted something consistent. As people who are doing 9 to 5, you can't play with your job. like that, unless if you are working from home. I think the structure there is different because, for example, if you don't have a nanny, you can figure out on how to take care of the baby while working. And the truth is that babies are very demanding. You can't say you're gonna be doing meetings and you are taking care of the baby. What if the baby cries? It was things like that. I am someone who really believes in structure, who believes in consistency. So for me, taking the baby to the nursery, I just wanted something that was consistent for myself, for the baby, and as well as for the type of work that I am doing and that my partner is doing. Number two, some people will say nursery is expensive, but I personally feel like it's not, depending on where you are taking your baby. Remember, if you are taking your baby into a nursery at the age of 4 months, that is still young. So you have to look around at the best nursery that you can find, and we were lucky to be happy with the nursery that we got. And even today, baby is still going to the nursery. And as I said, she's almost 2 years now. She's still going to the nursery because we were happy with the nursery. And I won't say it's easy to find the good nursery. You just go with your instinct and find the nursery that you find. In our area, we have a lot of nurseries. Every corner it has nursery, but I didn't also want to look around a lot trying to find a nursery. Firstly, after the baby was born, I started searching on Google, searching the prices, doing inquiries, all that. And then towards, I think she was 2 months, that is where we started like being serious with looking for a nursery. The first one that I went to, it was on the road to our work, and it's like 1 minute away from our house. What I didn't like was the fact that there was a lot of kids. And I remember when they showed us the section where baby was gonna be, and they had more than 6 infants, kids from 4 months to 18 months. I was like, this is a lot. And they had screens. That is something that I was like, no, that is not something that I like. It was beautiful, it was affordable, but because of that, nah, I was like, maybe my baby is not gonna get the attention that maybe I would like her to get. Of course, if you're taking your child into a nursery, you can't expect them to focus on your child only. There's other kids, but that one had a lot of kids, and I did not like that. After that, we looked for another one, and it was also another direction from our house, is a way to work as well. And here's the thing, when I got there, I was like, this is where I want my child to come. This is where I wanted my child to be taken care of. The aura, the atmosphere, the environment, the way they welcomed us, and the way they explained everything to us. And when we got there, we got into the principal. She was there. And here's the thing, is that my partner was like, you're gonna decide which nursery you would like us to take her, of course, by being there and seeing like whether you like it or not. So in that one, the minute I got it in, I was like, this is where I want baby to be taken care of. One, there were not a lot of kids. I think overall the kids there, they were less than 20, which is something that I was looking for. And most of the kids there, they were like toddlers, and it was gonna be her who was younger at that time. I was like, I'm happy. She explained everything to me and how it works, the payment. It was exactly what we budgeted for, of which is very important. You need to know your budget and know how much you are willing to pay for your baby's school fees. Everything just came together, and I told my partner that this is where I want us to take Noya. And after that, we didn't look at any other places because I was happy and I was okay. We filled in the forms and then we waited for the baby to be 4 months. What I can say is if you really want to take your child into a nursery, just look around and you'll know when you get there that that is where you want your child to go to, especially in places like where we stay, where there's a lot of options. It's unlike other areas like Ekas, you know that okay, that is the only place where there's necessary. Maybe there's one or two, and maybe if you want to take your child in a way better school, you have to maybe go outside of Ekasi. It's quite different with where we stay because we are in a suburb and most of the nurseries here they are quite good, but also at the same time you have to do a very good selection on where you take your baby to. Just look for the right one. Of course, recommendations and your instinct, you will know where to take your child to. Another thing in terms of affordability is comparing how much you're gonna spend on a nanny, stay in or stay out, compared to money you're gonna spend at the nursery. Like what I've seen is most people in Johannesburg they pay their nannies the same amount that you are paying for the nursery. Sometimes it's less. What I mean is 3,000 something. Some people they pay 2 point something, of which is equivalent. So in terms of affordability for myself, is if I'm paying for my child 3,000 rand to the nursery, that is the only expense for the month. So I'm able to budget. But if there is a nanny, I need to add that person into our household expenses, such as you can't say a nanny must bring their own lunch. That is quite not fair. And you can't say, oh no, by the way, you're not going to use our soap to bath. And sometimes you have to maybe buy them toiletries, things like that. And that can be costly. I believe that if you hire a nanny, that person has to be an additional member into your family because she is taking care of your child. You must treat her like an additional member into your family. And it comes at the cost. If we agree or the nanny is the fourth person in the house, we need to accommodate that in terms of the food that you buy, in terms of the things that you do, the activities that you get yourself into. If we decide to go out, we need to include the nanny as well. Why must she stay behind? For me, that is what I personally believe, that if I am hiring a helper, I need to treat that helper as one of the members in the household. And in order for that person to stay, I need to treat them well and I need to show them that they are welcome here and they are the part of the family. Number three, the benefits of taking your child to the nursery is early learning. Let me tell you guys, that is one of the benefits that shocks us every day. That baby is learning and she's doing things that we get impressed on each and every day. Taking her to a nursery was really a big win in that regard. That she's very smart, she's learning and she's adapting very easily. And her social life, my baby is an introvert. I have picked that up from her, but because she went to the nursery very early, she's able to socialize with other kids. She's very good at that. I feel like her being around kids all the time is really helping her to build that confidence for herself and to be more social with other kids, of which is something that I really like for her. And yeah, it's working really well for her as well. Another thing is routine and structure. If you are someone who likes routine, like I am, taking your child into a nursery is gonna be beneficial in that case. And I have seen how easy it is for us to build the routine. So we started building that routine at 4 months. Now we know that okay, in the morning, what time do we wake up? What time do we drop her off? And what time do we fetch her? And all that. So in terms of the time management and the routine, it really works very well because you don't have any stress of, oh god, I need to rush home in order for me to relieve the nanny so that she can go and catch a taxi. In the morning, you don't have a stress of, oh, I need to wait for the nanny to arrive. What if she's sick? There's no such thing. There's always someone at the nursery to take care of the kids, even if the other person is not there. If you are someone who likes routine, and if you want your child to adapt into a routine, nursery is really very good for that. I have seen it with ourselves. It's really working very well, and we really don't have stress of, oh god, we need to shift this and do that. We know how our routine works, and we focus on it each and every single day. The last thing that is beneficiary with taking baby to a nursery is professional caregiver, nursery assistants or creche assistants, you can say. Those people are educated, they have certificates of caregiving, they know how to take care of the children. So I think for me, that is one thing that is very important, and especially to the nursery that we took baby on, it is very structured and there is so much professionalism there. The principal doesn't play and she doesn't play. She means business, of which I like for us and for her as well, because we know that we don't have to struggle as long as we, of course, comply with her terms and conditions and her complying with our terms and conditions. And such as building babies' routine, they tell us that no, babies have to sleep at a certain time, they eat at a certain time. Even them, they understand that, okay, this is time to play, this is time to learn, this is time to sleep. So I think that, guys, I feel like for me, it's very, very important. And again, of course, it depends where you are taking your child. You will also see that, okay, these people are professional, these people don't just allow anything to happen, and that is gonna work in your favor as well. I have seen it with us. Beside the benefits, I'm not gonna lie, there are some disadvantages of taking your child to a nursery, especially at the early age. Things that are not so easy, I'm not gonna lie, and I won't say it's always rosy. No, unfortunately, it doesn't. But it gets better as the time goes. One thing that is really not easy with taking your baby to the nursery is that a 4-month-old immune system is still very weak and they get sick all the time. That is one thing that you struggled with. Baby used to get sick. When she gets sick, she'll infect her dad will infect me. It was a struggle at first because we were always sick. She was always sick. And we had to make sure, of course, that there is medication for things like flu, unless if it was serious thing that needed us to take her to a hospital or to a doctor, they will tell us that no, please do not bring her, this is very serious, and we will listen to them. So that is also the most important thing, is to build a good relationship with the teachers, with the principal, and understand what they say. If they say the child is sick, I don't know how many times they've called us to say that baby is sick, we should come and take her to a doctor, this is serious. They can't accept her until she's fine, or until there is a letter from the doctor saying that the condition she has is not going to affect other kids. It can be frustrating, and especially if you're going to be making excuses at work to say that my child is sick, you don't know how they're going to see you in terms of that. And not all managers understand that if a child is sick, and you have to take a leave while taking care of the child. I'm so grateful that baby has not been sick to a point that she had to be admitted to the hospital and I had to take leave that requires me to be off for like a couple of days. No, that has not happened. We thank God. There is a very dark side of taking a baby to a nursery at a young age. But what happens is that as the time goes, their immune system start getting stronger and stronger. The next thing you see is that they don't get sick as much as they were getting sick. And now if they get sick, it doesn't take like a lot of days. It's like few days, and then the next thing the baby is fine. I personally feel like she has adjusted very well, and life is much better now than how it was at first. Another thing is, if you're taking your child to a nursery, is there is no one-to-one bonding or connection that maybe if the baby has a nanny they will have, because of course if the nanny is there, the nanny is just taking care of your child, but at the nursery there's other kids who needs to be taken care of, and as she grows there are other kids that come that are younger than her that needs more care than her. So that expectation, of course, of I want my baby to be the priority, no, unfortunately all babies they are priorities, and it's something that you need to understand. And babies they do adjust because there's other kids as well, they adjust that look, now you're not a baby. At first it's gonna be painful. I remember that it was not easy for Noya to adjust that there was another small baby that everyone was hyping him up than her. So yeah, but now she's okay. She's okay with the fact that she's no longer the baby in the nursery. Another thing is it may be costly. For me, I personally believe that it's really not that costly compared to if we had to have a nanny, because I like budgeting. And when I look at the budget and think, okay, what if there was a nanny in between? I think it was going to be too much. So sometimes nurseries can be costly, but again, you also have to like choose what you can afford. You can't take the necessary of 3,000 rand if you can only afford 1,000 rand, or if you can only afford 2,000 rand. It's better to look for something that you can afford and stick into it. In that case, you won't feel the pinch of the nursery is expensive, and of course what you want for your child. My baby's nursery is a multiracial nursery, so what they learn is strictly in English and a bit of Afrikaans, because the principal is in Afrikaans. That on its own, of course, it's going to come with a cost. But if you're taking your child into, let's say, a black people school, it's going to be maybe less expensive and depend on the area as well. I always emphasize that it's better to take your child where you feel like, one, you can afford, and you're not gonna feel a pinch of the school fees, because it's something that you have to do each and every month. And another thing, if you feel like the baby has to go and stay with the grannies, I think that is also fine if there is what you can afford, and also there is less cost, because you can say, no, mama, please take this 1,000 rand and see yourself while you have the expenses of the baby, while you pay for the expenses of the baby as well. So, nursery can be expensive, and especially my baby's nursery, they don't eat at school, of which I believe that it's a good thing, because babies are very picky. And as babies are picky, you as a parent, you know what your baby likes. So we have a budget for her, and we pack her food each and every day to the nursery. They know what to give her at whatever time they decide to give it that. So for me, I feel like it's better that way, because I know how much I'm spending on my child each and every month for her necessary things. And yeah, it works better for me. I'm not gonna lie. And I personally feel like if I had a nanny, I was gonna be very stressed. And with the fact that uh-uh. the fact that we have to change nannies, guys, I don't understand why that has to happen. And the fact that you have to like welcome a stranger in your own home, it's something that I feel like I'm not ready for yet. Maybe in the future. And of course I'll know that at that time, okay, I'm okay with having this person in my house and I can pay them, and without feeling a pinch, I can like take care of them, is a part of my family. So yeah, guys, if you are thinking of taking your child to a nursery, I hope that work well for you and you make the right decision for yourself. That is all for this video. Thank you for watching. And if you like this video, please do press that like button, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you on my next video. Bye for now.